a good morning to you, or afternoon, or wherever you're watching this thing. I haven't been with you in a while. I think my last one was about my son Nicky Sal stealing my lines. But anyway, a couple of incidents have happened here recently that everyone is aware of. And I thought, you know what, I've got a pretty good story, and it involves John Madden. Now, when I came here and was assigned, if you will, to run KFOG, one of the guys that in dialing around, figuring out who my competition was, and one of the people that I caught on to right away was John Madden. And he was on with on KYA with Emperor Gene Nelson. Those of you who were around for a while might remember him. And he was just sensational. I mean, Gene Nelson was terrific with him. He was great. They used to do, an every morning thing, and it was just fabulous. And I really, really liked him. But the opportunity to get him on a station like KFOG at the time was probably not a real thing. So all I did was just enjoy his daily show with Gene, and he was absolutely terrific. He was as good as some of those commercials and all of the work that he was doing on the air with the NFL and the networks. Well, lo and behold, in 1989, we buy KMBR. I've mentioned this on this with all due respect a couple of times. And one day we find out that Emperor Gene is resigning. Now, I'm not exactly sure of the years of this, but just bear with me if I have a year or two wrong on this thing or exactly when it happened. But anyway, Gene Nelson retires, and the next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, KMBR would be a great place for John Madden. So I dug up his agent, a guy named Sandy Montag, who I noted in all of the press releases and all on John's recent demise, that Sandy was actually still his agent. This was probably now in, I want to say 90 or 91 when I reached out to John. And Frank Dill was doing the morning show then on KMBR, and I thought, geez, that'd be a great fit, and we were turning KMBR into a sports station, so I thought to myself, geez, this would be really great. And I checked with obviously our program director and our sales department and the whole thing, and everybody was really hot about it. So I reached out to Sandy Montag. I don't know how I found him, but I reached out to him, and they were interested. We went through, a month's worth of negotiations. I wound up paying John a lot more than I ever thought I was going to pay him. But I thought it was worth it. Checked with my company. They gave me the thumbs up, and off we go. So John was a part of KMBR. Did a morning hit with Frank and Mike in the morning at the time. And it was a rating hit, and it was a financial success, and it was terrific. And this goes on now for about another 3 or 4 years. And Frank Dill comes to me in 1994, and he's going to resign. He wants to retire, actually. And I, tried to talk him into it. I wanted him to do a kind of a Johnny Carson thing, work Monday through Thursday, a long weekend and whatever. But he had no interest. He really wanted to retire and enjoy his fruits of his labor for all those years and stop having to get up at 3:30 in the morning. So we hired a guy who was at the time, or had been at the time, with Channel 2, a guy named Steve McPartlin, to replace Frank, which was almost impossible. It's a decision we made, and off we went with Steve. Well, about 6 months after, and John continued to do the show with Steve, and he was great, but he didn't have the rapport that he had with Frank, and whatever. I mean, that was just a part of it. It's a new personality to to John, and I'm not sure if he knew who McPartland was or whatever. Anyway, about 6 months later, I get a call from Sandy Montag. Tony, got to talk to you. I'm telling you, this is, I hate to tell you this, but John wants to move away from your station and whatever. He just doesn't feel that he has a rapport with Steve. And Steve treated him terrifically well on the air, but it just didn't have the rapport. And quite frankly, it wasn't anywhere near as good as Frank did with John. And so, we had to bite the bullet, and it was a real blow to our prestige and our bottom line. And although we didn't actually make all that much money on it because I was paying John a terrific amount of money. But we parted in good company. I called John, and he apologized to me and whatever, for moving on. But he told me, he said, I just don't have that feeling that I had with Frank and whatever. And so, you win some and you lose some. Anyway, and so off John goes. And lo and behold, I think about a month later, unbeknownst to me, all of this was probably going on for a while. But anyway, unbeknownst to me, about a month after he leaves us, or a couple of months, again, the timing on it is fuzzy, all these years ago, he winds up on a KCBS. And on the morning show, and proceeds to do the same kind of entertaining that he did with KMBR for those numbers of years. And again, it was a blow to our prestige and our bottom line and whatever. And plus the fact, I just love John and whatever. But it was what it was. It's a business decision that he made. He didn't feel comfortable, and he felt comfortable with the folks over at KCBS. And so, whatever. It is what it is. It's a business proposition. It didn't work out for us in the end, and we moved on. Well, and I've mentioned this to you guys before. I've told a story about how we got involved with the Raiders when we bought the Ticket 1050. And I thought the Ticket 1050 would be a perfect home for the Raiders. And off we went, and now that story that I told you guys involved my Aunt Mary, but this is a whole different story. Anyway, I may have mentioned in that last Raiders story that we wound up having a very, very difficult time putting this deal together to get the Raiders on Ticket 1050. Just tough-ass negotiations, okay? And, you'd expect that. There's only 32 teams in the NFL. They don't come cheap. They don't come easy. But off we went in very intense negotiations. And Bruce Allen came in and moved the bar tremendously from where we thought we just didn't have a shot at him based on these negotiations we were going through. But he moved the bar completely forward. We really thought now, with Bruce involved, because he and I hit it off right away. And we thought, you know what, geez, I think we really got a shot here. But there were others in the Raiders that just would not come off from that hard-nosed, very difficult set of negotiations that they were throwing at us. And this went on for, weeks, months, a month and a half, whatever, maybe even longer. To a point where I was just in the end, I told Bruce, I said, Bruce, this is it. We're walking away here. This is, I've tried everything known to man. I'd like to say that you've helped me try to get this deal done. Impossible to get done. These people in the organization just won't let up, and they won't give me a break. And, I was feeling sorry for myself. But I really did try everything we could to try to get them on the Ticket 1050, and it just wasn't working. And after months of this, I kind of wrapped it up. I told corporate I'm moving on, whatever. It was a great idea, but it wasn't going to happen. And Bruce was very disappointed. He kind of understood it because he realized the kind of heat we were getting from the other folks in the organization, but that's what it was. It was what it was, and we were moving on. Well, it's never over until it's over, ladies and gentlemen, because I'd say a week after, or 10 days, whatever, after I kind of pulled the plug on the final part of this negotiation, my great secretary, assistant, sorry, Michelle Martin came into me and said, Tony, John Madden's on the phone. He wants to speak with you. Now remember, I knew John because he worked for us for 4 years. I didn't have a great close relationship with him or anything, but I did know him and he knew me. And anyway, he reached out to me and I had no idea why at that point. I mean, he had been gone for a number of years. If I thought about it, I might have been excited, but I was excited just to talk to John. So pick up the phone. John, how are you? Good. How's things going? Shoot the baloney a little bit. And then he tells me the reason why he's calling. And he tells me that he's been involved as an advisor on, the radio rights for the Raiders, the new radio rights for the Raiders. And that he had been following this all along through his sources within the organization. And he was very sad to hear that we moved away. And I let him have it. I didn't let him have it, but I let him have it with the folks that we were having all these problems with, who I thought were being just out of this world, tough to deal with and whatever. And I told him in no uncertain terms we certainly wanted to have the Raiders, but I didn't think it was going to work out. And so in the end, when it's a lost cause, sometimes you just need to move on. And he was sorry to hear that, but he said to me, look I'm checking with you because I want to know if you're still interested. I mean, I hear that you've kind of formally backed away. And I said, I most certainly am interested, but I seem to not be able to get through, jump over that last hurdle. He said to me, well, he said, I just want to let you know, he said that Al called me, Al Davis, and told him what was going on and said, well, John, you had worked for those guys before. And Al at that point didn't know me. He said, but you probably know those folks over there, the general manager, whatever. He said, I'm wondering if you can reach out to these guys, see what's going on. We'd love to see if we can put together a deal. So I laid it all out to John, and here's the bottom line. About 4 days later, John calls me back and says, you should call Bruce Allen. I think these negotiations will move along fairly quickly and expeditiously from this point forward. And I thanked him like hell, and I said, John, just fabulous. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your help. And sure enough, I called Bruce. Bruce was obviously in on the loop, gave himself a little credit by telling me that he had chatted with John as well on this thing. And lo and behold, we wound up doing I think 3 or 4 year deal. And we wound up having the Raiders for 7 years, and we took them to the Super Bowl, or they took us to the Super Bowl in San Diego and whatever. So we wound up having a great relationship. But that's my John Madden story. So hope you enjoy it. Oh, and by the way, I know you're out there. I can hear you breathing.